So it's getting recorded, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. The first question is remove boxes. So several boxes with different colors are represented by different positive numbers, and we may experience several rounds to remove boxes until there is no box left. And each time we choose some continuous boxes with same color, which is composed of k boxes, we are supposed to remove them and get k cross k points. So find the maximum points which we can get. So if we look at this example first, we are removing all the three twos. So 9 points for that. Then single 4, 1 point for that. And once we remove the 4, all threes will come. So again 9 points for that. And again these two twos, 4 points for them. So total points is 23 if we sum them. And constraints is like length will be less than 100 and each of the element of the box array will be less than equal to 100. Greater than 1 and less than equal to 100. Yeah. So what would be the brute force in this case?
So what could be the brute force?
Yeah,
so when you look at the example 1, okay, so what he's trying to do is first he's trying to take all the twos together, correct?
okay.
Because they
They are
are
continuous.
more contiguous, correct? Yeah. And they are the larger ones contiguous, right?
Yeah, larger ones. Yeah.
And then
So,
because 2 are threes, so therefore he's multiplying 3 into 3, correct? That is what the 9 points come for.
so it doesn't matter whether they are largest or smallest, right? Even if 3 into, because points we are counting after all, right?
Yeah. But to start with from somewhere, if we, what
We
I'm
just,
trying to say is, if we have any number of contiguous ones which are not present anywhere else, okay, that is what actually looks like, when he's doing that. First is,
No, but like in the second example, like we are removing four, but we have two contiguous three. So it
yeah,
will.
like here we are removing 4, only one it is, right? And although we are having two twos continuous, but there is a strategy. If they remove 4, the next time they'll have three threes together. This one. Yeah, but saying that like they are largest, would it suffice here?
so that
Selecting
is,
the largest would make this question a greedy question, right?
Yeah, the maximum point.
well, I think, if, it is like when he's removing twos, because why is he removing twos? Because they are more in numbers and they are not present anywhere other than this place, correct? So if you
Yeah,
remove those twos, then he comes to only 4 because 4 is a single number, okay, and it's not present anywhere else. So then he removes 4, and then actually you get all the threes together. Then he says threes are not present anywhere, and then goes to 1.
so are we supposed to remove the one kind of number only once? Like I could have removed two threes and then single 4 and then single 3.
Yeah, you
So
could do that very well, but the problem is if you do it that way, your points won't be maximum. Anyway, see, when you are going to try, you'll have to try all the combinations. But
yeah.
this is the combination which gives you the maximum points.
Yeah, but I think
But
that
sir,
point that will give less number of points because two twos if we remove 4 and 1 4 plus 1 5. But if three threes are together, then it will give 9, right?
Right, right.
Yeah.
hey, one
So it makes
question,
sense. Yeah, go ahead.
maybe similar to what you're asking. Let's say there was an array that was 2, 2, 4, 2, 2, right?
Okay, that's
In
right.
this case, in the first pass, will we be removing all twos or just one pair of two?
Can you come up?
Okay. Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Let's
Let's write that.
run that example. Okay, so what you are trying to
Okay.
say? Yeah, this is, you said it is 2, 2,
4, 2,
4,
2.
and 2, 2, correct?
Yeah.
So in this case, if you if you are saying like if we do first these two, then these two, and then this one, right? Okay, if we
So
go,
yeah, what is the expectation in the first pass? Are we removing only one pair of twos or all twos together?
It would be better to
Just
remove
the
first
one pair.
four.
yeah, let's do
Yeah,
one case.
that's true. I
Okay,
mean,
if we do it one pair, let us do one pair at a time. Okay.
Okay.
So now this two, if we remove, so your first point will be like, in this case,
Four.
coming down with 4, 2, 2, because that is gone. So the points will be 2 into 2,
Four.
which is equal to 4.
Yeah.
Then you remove this 2. So you will be left with 4. So it will be 4 plus 4. Okay.
mhm.
So, and then it will be 1. So your answer will be 9.
Nine.
Okay. So if we do it the other way, like
Plus
we
four.
just remove first 4. Okay. Then we will have all 4 twos together.
Mhm.
So your answer will be 1. And now if you have all that 4 twos together, so it will be 1 plus 16. So 17 will be greater than 9, right?
Nine.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that is why actually if we remove the numbers which are consecutive and they are not present anywhere first, will give you the good results. But having said that, we'll have to try all these combinations, you know.
Yeah, exactly. That's why, yeah. You can't go with any fixed rule that if I go for a longest or smallest, it will give. You'll have to try all the possibilities.
Okay. This looks like
Oh,
a DP problem, but
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It is like a deep problem.
yeah, I think it's very similar to that problem with burst balloons.
So, the maximum will always come when we multiply the number with like the maximum frequency, right? So, is it not like always like taking the count of each number and directly multiplying by their count, like
No,
directly taking their
continuous also
counts
you
and
have
adding?
to, you know.
So, at any point of time later, they will be continuous, right?
No,
Oh,
but see, on removing the element, the orientation changes, right? The element which were
okay.
not continuous earlier will become continuous after removing some element. So you can't take the guarantee of that.
Yeah, because if we have interleaved numbers like 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, something like that, you know. So it will be very difficult for us to remove all of them.
Yeah. makes
How
sense.
can we say that this is a DP problem?
Multiple choices you have, like if you go by the first way, you are getting 8. If you go by the second way, you are getting 17. So all the possible choices you are trying, and problems are repeating also, right?
Yeah.
So that
Just
is
sound
your
like a backtracking problem than a
Yeah.
DP, right? Because you try this way, and then you try different way, try to get the max value.
So if you are doing a backtracking, okay, you're still going to do a recursion, right? So when you are doing a recursion, you could store all your, what do you say, you can memorize some of your results, right? So that will
some of the
be much
states, yeah.
faster, yeah.
The reason I said it is a DP is like if you break it into sub problem, let's say there's an array with only 3 numbers, 2, 4, and 2. So you are removing one at a time and then seeing the choices on your left and on your right. For example, if I'm removing 4, I'm seeing what is the maximum I had on my left side, which was a 2, 2, which is a 2, length 2 string array. And then on my right side, what is the maximum if I have, and then if the numbers are same. So some state that I can maintain to understand, what's the maximum benefit I can make if I remove this number.
No, like when we say that it's a DP problem, we usually look for an optimal substructure and the repeating problem. So like, what's the problem being, I understand the problem which is being repeated, but what is the substructure we are looking for here in this question?
Yeah, so we will have to actually come up with a recurrence relationship, then only we'll be able to
exactly.
get that optimal substructure. But surely, because if we have to try all combinations, I think there will be a lot of overlappings for sure. And also we will be able to find a recurrence relationship, right? Because you'll have to go through each and every digit, right? Each and every color of that box. So you'll be finding an optimal substructure there too. So yeah, coming up with that is not so easy though. Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, there's another way of thinking about this problem, I think.
Okay.
We can think from the end that to get the maximum points, we need a consecutive, some numbers to be consecutively together. Say 3 should be together in the end, or 2 should be together in the end. And that way, probably this can help think something in this way we can try to think recursively. I mean, the way it is in the matrix chain multiplication or other problems, where we start thinking from the back side, right? What would be the last step, then the last minus one, and so on. Because if you look at the numbers, the points that they have earned here, right? So threes are together. Whenever threes are together, right, then only they have removed them. Similarly, whenever twos are together, they have removed them.
Oh yeah, that would be a nice way. I think I get what you're trying to say. So like in matrix chain multiplication, what we used to do is we used to think that what two matrices will be multiplied at the end. So in this question as well, we are looking for which consecutive pair would we be taking out at the end.
Oh, at every you are splitting at every, I mean, first one will be a single array and then the other part will be the 3 2 2 2 3 4 3 1. Is it? I mean, MCM, what we do, like at every point we split and store the result and see.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
But the way Himanshu was saying, I think, he was saying that you start looking from the end,
Okay.
and then you see if we have consecutive numbers together. Okay. And then you can take that value. Okay. And then you can store it, memorize somewhere. And whatever is remaining, you again do as a recurrence relationship, right? You can call the same thing again and again till you actually finish everything, right? So while doing that, you always look from the right side, you're saying. Yeah, that will also be a good way of doing, because we are actually trying to find all the consecutive ones. And then when we are actually, using recursion over there, so we are splitting also, right? In that case,
Yeah.
we don't
Yeah.
find them. Yeah.
So anyway,
What is the constraint? Is that the numbers small? What the size of the boxes?
100.
Hmm.
100.
So if we have only one box, then the answer is 1, right? That's the best case.
Yeah.
Yeah, single box is 1.
And what happens if we have we have 0 box, then the answer is 0. Right?
Yeah.
So
If we have 2 boxes, then what happens?
You'll have at least array length will be greater than 1.
Yeah, but when you are actually in a recursion, you might actually cross the pointers left and right, right?
Oh.
So it might be 0 in that case. That might be a base case too. Yeah.
So like when we have 2 boxes, if they both are the same color, right? That's one case. But if they different color, then that's another case.
Yeah. So the way the recursion, what he was explaining, could be like, you start with the left and right pointers, and then you start looking from the right side. Okay. If you see the next to it, of whatever the number of colors are same on the right side, okay, you keep on counting them. And as soon as you are done with that, okay, you say all the last 3s or 2s are done, okay. So whatever your number comes in, whatever the counted what value comes in, that multiplied by itself will be your result for that particular color, right? So then you actually reduce your relationship, saying, okay, now I'm done with the counting of those boxes. So I'm just removing from my counting. So I'm reducing the right side of the pointer of that array, right? Then you again reduce it from the right side. So your L remains the same and your R actually reduces by that much amount. And then you keep on doing the recursion.
But you need to look at the left side too, right? What if the left side had the same color at the box, at those on the right side?
But when you are trying to do from the right side, eventually you will come to the left also, right? So either way you do it, either you do start from the left or right, whatever the way you start. But yeah, what you say makes sense. You will somehow have to look from both sides also.
Yeah, because we don't want to remove the right side, you know, if the left sides have the same color.
Correct. That's true. So you might have to actually add them also before removing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have seen a similar question actually.
Yeah, Uday.
So the question is, so there is given a string, you need to remove the adjacent duplicates such that the resultant string is minimum and it doesn't have any adjacent duplicates as such. I mean, this question looks almost similar to that one actually for me.
So you are saying?
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead. You were
given a string, you need to create a string from that original string by removing adjacent duplicates, and the resultant string should be minimum, and it shouldn't have any adjacent duplicates at the end. This looks similar to that, like that to me. So in that also you actually try to remove the two first and four is like a different one, but next three and next one, something like that.
In that case, string won't be finished at last. Your array will be, empty.
I think there you don't have a reward problem, right? This is to maximize the reward.
Yeah, reward is
If there's no reward, it's we know we can remove these. We can detect it in different passes and then remove those. But how do we make sure we maximize the reward?
No. Here also we are trying to remove maximum. I mean, we are also trying to remove maximum ones at once, right? So here, why did we remove 3 2s at once? Because we wanted to merge the 3s as well, right?
Yeah, so whatever you are removing in your string problem, Uday, so whatever is left, they will all be unique, right?
Yeah, you will be unique.
So you just have that value of 1. So whenever you are removing the consecutive ones, you'll be just using that points. Yeah. Can be similar, yeah. Okay, so then how was that? What was the implementation for that? Can we apply the same thing over here? I think surely it is a DP problem there, right?
No. Actually, it's a recursion kind of thing. But there's no DP or something like that. So we try to start from left, and we try to remove as much as possible from the left. But whenever you encounter a different character, you try to call the in-between string again as a next step, next call stack, and you return that last deleted character. If it is equal, you delete this one as well. Maybe let me find that implementation. I can maybe share.
Yeah, sure.
So that Uday would be, I mean, that would be a brute force, right? I think that is what I have done.
Okay, it is brute force only, but actually it's linear time complexity as far as I remember.
No, no. Why? How linear? It would be factorial.
No, 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 not factorial.
In the meantime, Uday is searching. Can Harshit, you just display your solution if possible?
Okay.
Because that's a brute force, right? At least we can go through that.
Yeah, it was very close to what Leon was saying.
Okay. So that at least help our understanding, you know.
So I'm trying the DP one right now. So I'm just trying to remove one box at a time and then call the function. So I start here. So here I'm calling this function remove, and if the size is 0, I return 0. And like I'm choosing one box and I'm going on like for that entire stretch.
Okay.
Now I've made this array. I'll explain this later. Now I'm traversing to the array again, and if I get this k equal to I, which is the index for my current box, I simply move my k to j. So basically this denotes the continuous stretch. Now for the rest of the boxes, I keep on adding all those boxes in this array, new boxes. Right. So at the end, what I'm doing is I'm calling the function for the new boxes, and for the current ejected box, I am calculating the score.
It shouldn't be j minus I plus 1.
No, it would be this only, because it says indices into this. So if you do it for this, 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 minus 2 into 2. So 2 into 2 it will be.
Okay, so you are actually reducing the boxes which are
adjacent
ones, right? And then you are actually recalculating them again.
Yeah.
But how maximum, what strategy you are using for getting the maximum points?
So I'm just calling for the rest. And on the next iteration, I'll pick another contiguous stretch. And I'm doing it again and again.
So it's a brute force, right?
Yeah, it's pure brute force.
But you are doing it from the left side, correct?
Right.
Okay.
That is why I said it was n factorial. Like it is also done in the solution, let's say.
Right. But k is equal to I, then you jump to k equals j.
Yeah, so basically this is where I'm removing all those. Like I don't have to traverse them again, because I know that from I to j all the boxes are the same, because I've picked the I one and I have ended this stretch. Like I've kept on moving till these were equal, and my last box index would be j. So I can simply skip that part.
Yeah, but if we quickly look at the example one also, and if we try to see how we can walk, if we walk through here, okay. So your one, actually the first one will be at that time, if it will go to line 11 and 12, j will be 1 in that case. It won't be even 1, right?
No, because they are not equal, box I and j.
No, j starts from I plus 1, so j will be 1, right?
J would be 1, right?
Yeah. So then when you come down, this won't be, because he is going to add each and every box other than 1 from 3 to 1, right, in the new boxes. And your j 1 minus 0, so that will be again 1. That is correct. But then you have left with boxes from 3 to 1. So in that case, again, you will be having 1. So that also will be 1. So only you will be having points of 3 twos, right? Rest
Right.
all, everything will be 1. Well, I'm not
Right.
getting that.
Okay. So what thing? You are confused with this part?
No, no. What I'm saying, if I look at the example 1, and if it's, I'm just always starting from the left side, okay. So whenever I finish with 1, so I'm left with the boxes array, which is starting from the first index now, which is 3 to 1, correct?
Okay. Okay.
So that is my new boxes will be. So I've
Yeah.
reduced that. So then when I come do another, go inside this for loop again.
So first of all, you will cover this function. No, I'm calling this function. This is a
Right.
recursive call.
Right.
So in my next recursive call, my array would be this.
Okay.
So I'll find the answer for this. And
Yeah,
I
but
have, yeah.
okay, go ahead.
So I have found the answer for this. This is this j minus 1 into j minus 1. So this would be 1, right? Because j is 1 and I is 0. Next thing I'll be doing is I'll be calling for this part, right? So again, I'll exclude 3 and I would call for this part. So this will go on for 1. Similarly, in my next iteration of this loop, I'll pick 3 and then I'll call the rest of the array 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 1. At that time, I'll take out 3.
Okay.
So
So at that time, you are actually including the whole array instead of except 3, right? Okay.
Right. In the next iteration, first of all, I'll cover all the cases. Like first time I'll pass this one. Next would be this. Like after removing 1, initially I'll have this one, like 3 from here to here, and then I'll move out 3. Then this would be left, and in the next this would be left. So this would be just by removing 1.
Makes sense. Yeah, now it is clear. Yeah, because you are actually every time you are removing a single adjacent value, right? And then you are trying to find what is your res. So whatever is your maximum res, that will be your answer. Okay.
Right. So after the first iteration, I equal to 0, I'll have the maximum answer that can be obtained by removing 1. Similarly, I'll go on. That is why I was saying it is n factorial, like for my implementation.
Right.
So when 222 comes, all of them will be removed at once, right? Because J pointer will keep on.
Yeah, because when you go to 2, all the 2s, so
11
you
number line
having,
flex.
yeah, so that will be 11 and 12 will take care of it, and it will be increased to 3.
Directly goes to 3.
Yeah, at the end it will be 3 on line 21, but you will be removing them, so whatever is left is the array without all these 2s. So that in that case it will be the maximum. Okay, yeah, then at least that makes sense. Even though it is n factorial, at least you will have some answer.
Yeah.
But it's not passing, it's really clear.
Yeah, that is right.
Yeah. How many of them are passing?
I don't know. I haven't seen, like, I just saw the.
Okay, time limit. That's fine. Yeah.
So 10.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see what Uday has to say. Yeah, Uday, did you find that?
Uday is there.
I think he is not there, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's not there. Oh. Uday is first.
Yeah, Uday.
I have shared in the chat.
Okay. So, okay.
Yeah, sure, I'll share it.
Can someone share?
I'll share it. code directly code, right?
Yeah.
So what he is doing actually is from leftmost character is starting and removing the duplicate left corner if there are any. Different from its adjacent now. The first character must be different.
Yeah, so here we are not worried about maximum and the point.
Yeah. Simply we have to remove the adjacent duplicates.
No, but even if we are removing the duplicates, we can actually take that into consideration, right? The points what we are counting. So whenever we find an adjacent values which are duplicates, we can just add them the way what Arshit was doing for J, right? So we can
But
add them.
that won't give you the maximum, right? Because we saw 3 were consecutive. I mean, they were adjacent, but we still removed the 4, right?
No, we were trying in all cases, right? In that also.
Yeah,
So your answer will be maximum only when you remove all the consecutives together.
Yeah, but if some, what you say, if some pattern is there which was not earlier contiguous, but by removing something it became. So you'll have to try all the possibilities and then.
I think this is also the similar, right? Because see, if you look at the whatever is on the screen right now, you have an array of C, triple A's, BB, AA, C, DD. So then when he is removed everything is coming to CC, it means he has removed A, BB, A. Okay, he has removed DDs also in that case, yeah.
BB. All the triple B's are removed, A's and double A's. So did he take care of strategy? No. He hasn't removed triple B first, right?
Yeah,
I think.
can we go through the...
Yeah, sure.
So tries to remove C first, and since A is finding it different, he calls that rest of the string in a recursion.
Your voice is not clear a little bit.
So he tries to delete the first C. If it is not a duplicate, he tries to call recursion on the next part of the string, that triple A, triple B, the rest of the string. And in the next step of recursion, he tries to delete 3 A's. And whenever he encounters B, he again calls recursion on the rest of the string. Delete triple B.
Okay.
Yeah. He's just traveling from the left till the point all the characters are same, and for the rest of the part, making a recursive call.
Yeah, but when he's coming out of the stack, he's returning the last removed character as well. So when he comes out of this, the triple A, triple B, double A, C, he's returning the C.
Okay.
That is why we are getting empty string.
Okay.
So I was going through this, but I couldn't get much like.
Yeah.
So he's forming, 3 variables DP. So what is trying to do? DP of IJK will denote the max value of removing the boxes. If we have K extra boxes of AI to the left of this. So this line I couldn't. Left of what? K extra boxes of color AI to the left of from I to J.
Okay, from left of AI, he's actually taking all the values of the same colors and then he's saying it might be like j plus 1, right? So I to j plus 1 some value. So that is
Yeah.
the range for the same color. So that will be the k in that case.
A of I to the left of this. So from I to J, he's taking the range and again left of this. Like K extra boxes to the.
It is somewhat similar, I think so. Yeah.
Now
But
he's removing the, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, so he's trying to remove that because his objective in this problem is different, right? So he doesn't care about the way they are actually laid out. Okay, so wherever he finds the consecutive ones, he's just removing them.
Removing them. Yeah.
Yeah,
to get
but there might be some like two C's which are very separate, right? And there are many of them, but they are only single. But he cannot say that both of them are unique unless and until he removes all the ones which are consecutive in between, and then those two C's come together, then he removes them also. So it
Yeah.
is sort of similar what we are doing for our problem, right? So he's trying to actually club whatever the ones which are far away and trying to see if they can come together and then remove them.
So he's removing K boxes from them.
Yeah. Yeah. I think why not we take this problem?
Yeah,
Has
yeah.
anyone solved this problem for the DP way?
Or we can take it for weekend, like.
Maybe we take it for this weekend. Uday, do you want to give a try?
I didn't understand that.
Okay. So why don't we keep this problem for our next session?
Yeah, sure.
Is it okay, Arshit?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
I think we should actually be able to crack this problem. Maybe we can also take the help of this. Yeah, who is this?
No, it's okay. I think we can take it later.
Okay, yeah. And also we can take this remove adjacent duplicates, together. So we can compare those two problems, how different they are.
Yeah.
Actually, there is
Okay.
one.
Yeah, someone?
Yeah, there is one more problem: burst balloons in lead code. That also has very similar description. I don't know.
Yeah, I was.
Burst balloons. Okay.
DP problem only, that is also, I think.
Yeah, that also works the same way.
Okay.
Yeah, that's same as matrix multiplication.
Burst balloons, maximum number of balloons.
Yeah.
Or minimum number of arrows to the burst balloons.
No, the first one. Each balloon has some.
Okay, the burst balloon 312, I think, right? Okay.
Yeah, but that is the easier version of this one, boxes.
Is it? Okay.
Because we just need two states over there.
I see the problem number 312. Can we just open that here?
Yes,
Shashank?
sure. Yeah, sure.
And just see if Himanshu agrees to that. Is the same one. Himanshu Arshit, yeah. I see 312, or maybe just write burst balloons and then we pick that number. So I can add that.
302, right?
No, actually just write burst balloons. Yeah, so which is the one, Himanshu Arshit?
Which should have
Can you open?
Yeah, this one only, 312.
312, okay. 312. Okay. So we'll club all these three together and see if we can try to address this one.
Yeah, this one.
Sure. So what actually this problem is saying?
So it's very similar to matrix multiplication.
Okay, it is about matrix multiplication.
Like you have to decide what order you should follow, which balloons to burst first.
Okay.
So we can take it. All the three like duplicate, burst balloon, and
Sure.
this one. What
No
is this? Yeah.
Yeah, I've noted it. Yeah, the geeks one also. Geeks for you.
We can go to next then.
Sure.
Yeah. So this is like delete and earn. So an array of number is an array nums of integer is given, and we are supposed to perform operations on the array. So in each operation, you pick any number and delete to earn those many number of points. And when you delete, every element should be equal to nums of I plus 1 and minus 1. And you start with 0 points, return the maximum number of points you can earn by applying such operations. So here they are picking up the 4. So 4 minus 1 is 3. So 4 points for that. So 3 will automatically get removed. And at last, you'll have to take explicitly remove 2. So 4 plus 2, 6 points. This is what 6. And coming to here, they are first deleting 3. When you delete 3, so 2 can be removed, right? These 2 will be automatically removed. And this 4 can also be removed. So, and again, next 3 he is taking to remove the next 2 and not next 2 only. So 3, 3, 6. And last will be left with 3. 6 plus 3, 9. And length of the nums is 20k, and each of the element nums of I is an integer between 1 to 10k. Yeah.
So in
So
this
what
example 2, so you are saying, okay, you are actually giving us the output value, right? So if it is 3, if I select 3, so 3 minus 1 is 2 and 3 plus 1 is 4, correct?
So yeah, this got deleted, this got deleted.
But then when I'm actually looking for 3, okay.
Next 3 you pick this.
Okay, but in this case, are we not removing, because we have done with the 3, right? So why we have to look for the 3 again?
No, this is gone, this is gone. So next 3 I'm picking. Next 3 if I'll pick, then 3 minus 1, 2. So this 2 will also go and this 3 will go. So we'll have 3 points for that. And at last we are only left with this 3. So you just remove it. So 3, 3, 6, 3, 9.
So you mean to say that whenever I'm picking a number, I'm not deleting the same numbers, whatever the duplicates are. I'm just deleting only one of it.
Yeah. It's not the same one. Like, I mean, previous one was like this only what you are saying now, right?
Oh yeah, but I'm trying to understand this problem statement. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay, so in this example, okay, so why we are 9 and why is the output 9? Because it is the maximum, correct? So if we were supposed to start with 2, so it would be like we would be removing only 3s in that case, right?
2 with 1 3, okay. Then next 2 you will take. Next 3 you will remove for that.
Shashank, I think even if you pick 1 2, you need to remove all the 3s at once.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
there's every.
Right. So if I take first 2, I will be removing all 3s. So my first input output will be 2, and then I will have another 2 that will be 4.
Then both have to remove separately.
Yeah. So now 3s are done. Now only 4 is remaining, and then 4. So that the answer in this case will be 8.
8. Yeah.
So if you go for 3, our output is 9. So that is still bigger. But then if you go for 4,
then all the 3 will be removed. This
all
3
the
will be
3 will be removed.
This 3. So 4 plus 4, 8.
Yeah. Then again it will be 8. Yeah. Okay. So
every element less than and greater than is removed.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. If it matches all the values, we'll remove it out. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So what is a better way of working on this problem?
This also looks like a DP problem only, like give all the choices and in whichever case you get the max value, that should be your answer, right?
Okay. So one more actually, I have a doubt in this. Okay. So if I had my input something like I just take on similar lines of example 2. So if I had 2, then I had a 3. Okay, so I had 2 and then 3, 4 and 3. Okay, so I have a same number of 2, same number of 3s and same number of 4, but they are not consecutive. So that should not be a problem, right? So the answer will still be 9 in that case, correct?
Yeah.
Like, what extra information you are trying to get from here?
Well, I thought like whatever the ones which are consecutive, because when you pick up 2, so you remove all the 3s because the 3 is actually 2 plus 1. But you can remove 3 even if they are separated.
Oh, separated,
They are not
interleaving.
adjacent, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that doesn't make. I don't think so. It should make difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking like we try to find the weightage of each number. Like weightage would be if any number is repeating 5 times, like 5 into that number, and sort it accordingly. And we need to make sure that the first one has to stay. So the +1 and -1 we can sacrifice, and same way we can take the next available one and see if it works.
Can you write that like, I mean, better?
Yeah, yeah. I was saying like, for example, if you have like twos, 5 twos, and 3s would be like maybe 6, and 5s are like 2, and 6 are like 3. So weightage of this would be 10. Weightage of this would be 18. So weightage of this would be 10, and this would be 18.
Okay.
So we should give our first priority to these two, because every time we pick a number of that same digit, we are not going to lose any of those. We're going to get all of them, right? So if you pick this first, any of these two, then we are going to lose this one and this one. But we're going to get these both 18s.
No, why do we lose 5?
Yeah.
Because if you put 1 6, then you need to remove all 5s.
Okay. If you use 6, then you are removing 5. If you use 3, you are removing 2s.
If 5s are like 10 5s, then we have 15. This weightage is more, so we can sacrifice 6 and we can take 5 as our first priority.
So that, how will you know in advance? You'll have to do all the possibilities only, right?
I mean, no, we need to pre-process, like see how many are there and how many count of each number. Then we know the weightage, and then we can use something like heap or something like that and see. We don't need to find all the possibilities, right? Like for possibilities, you are trying for removing 1 first, then 3 first, or 4 first, or second 3, like that. But here I'm with this data, I'm sure that I know what I'm going to pick first.
So based on the value, you will select whichever is the highest value, that you will try to take first, right? Like 50. Let's say if it was 10.
Yeah, I will take 50, which has the highest.
Okay, then based on 50, you will sacrifice 6.
Yeah, because anyway, I don't have a choice. I need the highest value, so I need to sacrifice +1 or -1. After that, removing for all 4s and removing all 6, then I can see what are the next possible ones and which I can take next.
So if you were to implement this, so how are you going to, take, in this case, like 18, 18, how are you going to take those 18s first? So you said you are going to sort them based on the value?
No, no need of sorting. You can take like a hash map or something with counts of each number. Then you get the weightage. You can put them in a heap, a max heap, with the weightage and also as a pair of weightage and also the value.
Tuple, yeah.
Actually, instead of stating a count, you can have the indexes of where it is there with all those. So with the length, we can have the count. In the heap, we can have the first max one.
So you can directly walk on the values and get the maximum, right? On
Yeah,
dictionary values.
Yeah, that would
Keep
be.
on updating them. Yeah.
Would that be a brute force if I just walk through this array and then still, let's say, put that in a hash map with the the value and the frequency, and then just walk through the array and then see if I'm removing this element, what's the maximum I'm getting, and just track the max.
Yeah, extract the yeah. And then again, depending on that, you remove that particular key which you had to sacrifice. And again, next time again, you look for the next max.
Yes.
That will be brute force then. Each time you'll have to. Then heap, yeah, what I was saying.
Yeah, because if you use a heap, actually you'll have to have a mapping with your key, that is the 2, 3, 5, 6, with your whatever your sum is, right? Or your weightage is, correct?
Yeah.
And if you put in a heap and you are traversing that O of n, so it will be n log n in that case, correct?
Yeah.
So I have one question. So you're saying like we should pick 50. So like pick all the 5s first, and like we can like if there were 4s and if there were 6, then we can skip 4 and 6 to pick the 50. But what if the addition of 4 and 6 comes more than 50?
Yeah, that's why we have to look for all the possible.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah.
That makes sense, yeah.
And this looks like more of a greedy approach, what Dilip explained. And I doubt whether that would work here.
Yeah, but let's see what Dilip has to say.
I just have a thought. I just got a
Okay,
thought.
okay.
Sorry.
No problem. So I think, yeah, the greedy approach may be, I'm not sure though, but I think Shashank also said, right, it was a DP issue.
Yeah, DP issue because of that only, like the one Komal was raising an issue, like 4 plus 5, 4 plus or 6 will have greater number of points compared to 5. So we have to try all the possible options and then.
Yeah, makes sense.
But yes, I think we'll have to keep some pre-processing, like the way Dilip was explaining. That can help for a particular number, like how many numbers are there which are just less than that number and numbers greater than that number.
Okay. So how do we do that then? So one way would be like, yeah, go ahead. That's it.
I think we can use a hash map for that.
Hash map, okay.
Just to store the count of every number, and when we are trying to pick a number to remove it from the array, we can check whether is there any number like number -1, is it present on the hash map? If yes, then we take the value, and similarly check for number +1.
Okay. And so how do we get the maximum? Because you will have to find a maximum, because it's not only a single value. You'll have to get the other values also, right?
Yeah, that is where DP would come in. We'll have to traverse through all the possibilities.
Okay. So in this case, if you were saying something like the way the example 2, if we form some buckets, right? So the bucket, if we have an array which has 2 in this case, so this will be 4, right?
Okay.
So if we have 3, so it will be 9.
Why 4?
And I'm just adding because he was adding, right? 2 plus 2.
Okay.
And then Yeah, the count also might work, or yeah, maybe the values also, because at the end it is going to be this. Yeah, so count will also be fine. So we can have 2 and then we can have 3 here, and then we can have 4 here, 4 and then 1, right? So, but then we still have to traverse this whole array, right? So first we'll have to look for this value. If this is 2, so we are just going to skip this. So in this case, the value will be 4, right? And then we just skip this for this value and then this 4. So this will be 8, right? Then we go for the next value. So in that case, we skip both of them, right? So our max will be 9 in that case. And then we come to this array, this index or this bucket, and we skip this one. And so we'll have to actually take into consideration the previous one also, right?
Yeah, max.
Yeah, so this is the same for it.
Yeah, I think the way I was implementing my previous, that might work.
Okay.
Just moving the same element and then calling the recursive call for the next array.
Okay.
Where you remove the 2 and the 3 and then just pass 4.
Okay, so you have something to share that?
No, I'm just saying that the previous question where I was solving.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So I actually took a help of some other problem. I'm not sure what that problem was, but they were saying in some discussion it was the same to that. So I'll just share my code. It is a DP. I think it's like the bottom up approach. So what I've done means based on that application, what implementation, what someone has shared. So I'm just taking a vector of 1001 size. Okay, so this is what is the maximum size, right? So therefore 1001. And then I'm actually creating all the buckets, pre-processing everything. Okay.
So corresponding to each value, you are adding the sum, right? How many?
Yes. So like what I said, like if I have 2, so I'll be adding 2, 2, 2 for that. Okay. In this case, so it will be 4. So 3 will be 9 and 4 will be only 4. So that will be this bucket whole array. Then I'm actually taking another DP array, which is again the same size. And then if I just look only to always to these are the base cases, just adding the bucket 0 to DP 0. But when I come to this one, DP1, I'm just looking for the maximum values which are in the bucket 1 and bucket 0, because I can't do anything processing in that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just adding that in DP1. So, but when I go for the second to the end of that array, so what I'm trying to do is, in this case, like taking the maximum of the previous bucket or to the previous plus the current bucket, right? Then I keep on filling the DP array for that particular, and at the end, I just return the DP of the last array, last index.
So what is the intuition in 16 line, like previous, maximum of previous and previous to previous plus current bucket value?
Yeah, because these are the consecutive ones, right? So if I choose bucket I, okay, I have to skip the consecutive one, correct? So I have to skip this guy, but I can take the previous to previous value. So till that previous to previous value, I have all the maximum values what I have accumulated till then, right? Or if this is not maximum, so my previous value might be the maximum. So I'll just copy that value in my DPI. So every time whatever I have in the DPI will be the maximum values, okay, for this current bucket or for the previous bucket, because I have to look only for 2 buckets every time. When I'm at first bucket, ith bucket, I can skip the ith minus 1 because it will be removed, but I can take the previous to previous one, and that bucket will be the maximum value for that bucket. So, but the only downside is you will have to have a bigger array and there will be two bigger arrays.
Your two arrays, yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
DP of I
Why do we need
stores
1000 like this big array?
The 10,001.
Yeah, 10,001.
Yeah, because it is the size of this array, right? So maximum size they have specified, it is 10,000. So I'm just using that array over here, array size.
So can we not use like nums dot length, like nums size of nums when
I
vector?
think, yeah, that should be possible. But no, we can't use nums, but we can use a maximum value is nums. So we can use whatever is the maximum value. Because if I use nums, because I might have more values, right? So if I have only nums 3, but I have the values like 99 and 39 and 49, right? So I have to use the whatever is the maximum value in that nums array, and then I can actually use. So that also that might be some sort of a cost saving. Yeah. That is the only best thing can be done. But still, the array size will be huge if the number value is bigger. Correct.
Yeah.
How are you suggesting the cost saving? Can you tell once more?
Which one?
I mean, if we go with this approach, we'll still have to take the size of 10,001, right?
Yeah.
Can we do space optimal? Better?
Yeah, that is what I was saying. Like we can actually traverse the nums array, okay, and like in this case it is a 4, right? So I can take the maximum element is 4. So 4 plus 1, 5. So if I have this value as 5, so then it will work.
Oh.
Because it is most of the time we are just concerned with the largest value, because that will be the last value, right?
Yeah.
And this is like if my example 2 is such a smaller and I'm using 10,000, that's an overkill, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so that optimization can be done.
I don't think so, because the thing is, okay, just imagine if, all these numbers were far apart, right? And they were not continuous numbers. Just say it was like 2, 5, 10.
Okay.
Right? So so all of these will be taken because nothing gets deleted, right? So the total sum is 17 over here. But when you go to line 18, when you do a DP of I minus 1, you end up eliminating one of these numbers. So that's why they are taking a continuous array of 10,000. Or you need to take like, for 10, you need to keep 9 in mind with a 0 value and 11 in mind with a 0 value. You get what I'm saying?
Okay, so if you have 2, 5, and 10, these are 3 distinct values, correct?
Yeah. So if you're saying, if you take like, num size of, so are you saying that now your array is going to be 1 to 10, or is it just going to contain 2, 5, and 10?
No. It will be 1 to 10.
Okay.
Or maybe 0 to 10, you can say.
Yeah.
0 to 11, yeah.
Yeah, so the value size will be 11 in this case.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So if I have that, then that should work.
Yeah.
There will be some space optimization. That's the only max we can do.
Yeah.
But they won't have such a small one, because these are the indicative ones, right? The examples what we get.
Yeah.
The real value, the real life examples will be much bigger. Yeah, I actually saw this for some similar implementation of a similar problem. So I just picked it from there, and it actually fits with here, because I was going through the solutions and the discussion. I really couldn't understand how they are actually avoiding and adding on all. It was slightly confusing. So I found this to be much easier, to understand.
Yeah.
This is something like the house robber, right? Like.
Yeah, exactly. That's from the house robber only, correct?
Yeah.
That's the same. It's the same one. It's the
But
same
that
one.
was a bit intuitive. This is like,
A house robber is also the same, right?
Yeah, but DFS you can use that, right?
Yeah, but if you use DFS, then you could actually do a recursive way on a top-down approach, or either you can do it from the bottom-up approach.
Bottom up. Yeah.
So this is what it is. You're right. That is a house robber.
Santosh, one thing.
Yeah.
What does a DP of I like essentially represent? how do we denote this?
So this dp of I will actually give you what is the maximum value at this current position.
Like
So
by removing this element.
it can be you actually if you are at 3, in this case if your dpi is for this element 3, so you will actually first remove I2, right? To get the value of 3. But what if your 2 value itself is the maximum value, right?
Okay.
So you will actually use that value over here instead of actually using your current 3 value. So you are actually trying to build whatever is at the maximum at the current position, and then you are moving to the next one. So when you come to 4,
we are storing the maximum also.
Correct. Yeah, that's what it is.
And we try to kind of pluck out that element and then obtain our answer for dp of I minus 2.
Yes. In this case, you look for either we'll have to look for dp of I minus 1 or the previous one we'll have to take and this value. Yeah.
So we're not looking ahead, right? We're not checking I plus 1.
Yeah, because actually when we are traversing the array to the end, we are actually doing that also, correct? So we are actually going to the end always. So when we are going in the right direction from left to right, you will be always adding 1. So you'll have to look for only I minus 1 or the value key minus 1. So you just have to actually look for the key minus 1. You have to remove that or add that, take the maximum value and just keep on moving. So at the end, you will be doing for the I plus 1 also because you are traversing the whole array.
Okay, that would be taken care of.
Yeah. It's not though intuitive, but once you actually, go through this, then it makes sense. It's not very intuitive because the way they are saying you have to remove 1 and add 1. So it won't come to our, your mind like how this is, So this is slightly tricky to come, but the implementation works over here and much better.
Yeah, so if just in this loop only, we are at I. Now if we move to I plus 1, we won't consider that I minus 1's answer, right? We'll just use that to obtain a maximum, but our real answer would be coming from 1 behind.
Right. So if you go for I plus 1 in this case, so if you're dp of I plus 1, so for dp of I plus 1, you will actually look for 2 values. One is dp of I, which will be our previous value, and the other will be in the current bucket, right? So bucket will be our I plus 1, and then you will actually look for your dp value of the previous one.
Right.
So
it's
it will be
like knapsack where this dp of I represents that I am not picking the I plus 1th element.
Yeah.
So I'm skipping that, and the second one is that I am picking this bucket of I, so I'll have to obtain my answer for dp of I minus 2, or dp of I minus 1 here.
I minus 1, yeah, correct. It is almost like that, the knapsack one, yeah. But only thing you'll have to find the max in this case of these 2 values. Yeah.
Actually, the same problem is given in cracking the coding interview also. The house massive problem is there.
Okay, so they implemented the similar way?
Yeah. There she took all the approaches. Recursion, then recursion plus top down, then bottom up, and then bottom up with O1 space.
Okay. Yeah. So if you do the recursive way and then you do the bottom ups, then at least you'll hit upon this implementation, correct? It will make more sense. Yeah, you are right. But directly coming to this, it's not so easy.
Yeah. Directly coming is, it's not.
Yeah, it's not so easy. Yeah.
Actually, there's a follow problem which they ask sometimes in interviews. You have to tell the sequence which you have picked up.
Come again?
That's slightly difficult.
I didn't get the problem. What you said?
As a follow problem, sometimes in the interviews they ask. So here we are just returning the maximum value, right?
Okay.
sometimes they ask what is the sequence of numbers you have picked up.
Oh, yeah.
That is like you have to do more state.
No, then that bottom-up travel you have to traverse from back and get those numbers, right? The bottom-up the table which you form to get the maximum value. In that only, if you traverse from the last and then keep track how those values are coming, you'll get the numbers. That sequence
we
you
have
want.
to store the maximum starting index.
Starting index.
The I for which we are getting the maximum.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we can go to next one.
So did anyone look at the problem, the solution for this problem? If you look at the solution, yeah, not for the remove, the delete and the delete and. So if you look at the way they have implemented, they directly went to the approach one of DP, and it's a bottom-up approach. Okay, so it was slightly difficult for me to understand in this case.
So this is the only one, sir. Okay.
Yeah, they are only one. So actually here they are doing all the pre-processing, that is correct. But when you come in this loop, okay, they are always looking for whenever your frequency value of the count is greater than 0, that makes sense. But then they actually find an avoid and using with the max. So actually this implementation looks very neat, but understanding this problem actually was very difficult for me. Any one of you guys actually look at this?
So
yeah, they have the big algorithm what they have discussed there. But if you look at the problem, yeah, it like says you have two values, right? Avoid and using, correct?
Flag, yeah, using.
Yeah, so we just have to fill in those. So the one will be like k-1 is not equal to the previous, and else if k-1 equals to the previous. These are the only two conditions we have to take care. Correct. Every point of time. So actually we are using that value, so it means that we are actually using k, which is your index, which is your key value, I think, right? Multiplied by the count.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus m. Yeah. This m is what?
So that is what the previous value, the maximum of the previous one. So that will always be. I think this is almost similar, right?
So ये सब पे कितने हैं?
Yeah.
This part, I think because we are already checking that if count of k is greater than 0, then only we are moving forward.
Yes, that is right. So, but what he does is actually on line 18 is that's fine because he is looking for avoid and using, you know. So what is to be avoided and what we have to use. So out of that, whatever is the maximum. So avoid doesn't mean exactly the way to avoid or skip it, but he's just using a variable name. So to keep the previous value in that case, right? But the using will be the current value. Okay. So at any point of time, he's also doing the same thing what we actually discussed just now, right? Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I think the intuition is clear once I see the the solution.
Yeah. Because it's very difficult for me to understand specifically the variable names. They are more confusing. Yeah.
Yeah, what they are telling, they are not literally.
Right. Now it makes sense. Yeah. No problem. Yeah.
So I think the variations. I think this can have variations. Right now it's saying, for any deletion, we are removing one number less and one number up. And then the variation can be, 5 number less and 5 number up or so, anything like that.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Become more, I think.
So even if it is deleting 2 numbers, so you will be actually comparing with 4 values, right? at that time. So the previous I minus 1, I minus 2, and I plus 1 and I plus 2, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 values you'll be comparing every time. Okay. So that will be more. Yeah, that's a good way to think. Yeah.
And one more thing, I think when I point that out is when we are using this DP, right? In the DP, we always looking back and seeing, what's the maximum value if I look back versus what's the maximum value if I look back and remove myself. There are two options.
Mm-hmm.
We are not looking forward. In the question, the question said that for any number n, if you're removing n, you're going to remove n minus 1 and n plus 1 both.
Mm-hmm.
But in DP, does that handle the case where, let's say you're removing?
Possible, no? Because if you try to look for DP of I plus 1, you will not find anything over there. Right? You'll have some garbage value or some initialized value.
True.
So we have to either we pre-process that part, we set something on DP of I plus 1, or we try to move on in such a way that we don't need that DP of I plus 1, like the forward values.
But then how it is taking care of front value? Yeah, that's true that it will have some initial value I plus 1. But in this minus part, how they are taking care of front values?
Yeah, because if
this one,
they are not taking care. I think the only idea of DP is they're not. They're backtracking basically. They're going back in time and then saying, what if I did not have 5, and then I had 4. So what was the value at 4? Okay, what if I did not have 4? What was the value at 3? And so on and so forth.
Yeah.
In this question, at line number 10 and 13, they are doing a multiplication, right, with K.
Mm-hmm.
The frequency. Yeah.
In your solution, Santosh, you were also doing multiplication?
Yeah, actually, here what he's doing is maintaining the count. Okay. So in my case, actually, I was adding the values,
Yeah, you added the values in.
Yeah, so it was already the K into count of K.
Oh.
Yeah. So actually, why we were not considering I plus 1, because every time we come to the next value, so you will do the same thing for the previous one. So you will actually skip the previous one, right? I minus 1. Got it? Because then in that case also you are going to look for I minus 2 or the current one. Right. So it is one and the same actually, if you do it that way or this way. But you cannot explicitly do in this case, because it is a bottoms up approach. But in the top down approach, it will come. So that is the way actually, first if we do the top down approach and come to this approach, then it will make sense in the interview also. Because if we directly jump to this implementation, the person is going to ask us a lot of questions. How did you come to this and what was your thought process? Correct.
What would be the top down approach?
Top down approach will be almost exactly the same, but we'll have to actually skip the I minus 1 as well as the I plus 1 every time.
These are same.
Right. So you will actually have a count value, the count frequency count, the same array. And then when you are at a particular index, okay, so you will actually skip both of them. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then find out what is the maximum for the previous I minus 2 and I plus 2. So then you will have to actually converge that way.
So then will you be maintaining 2 DP arrays in that case? One from left and one from right?
Maybe it will, you don't have to maintain a DP array, you will have to do a memoization, right? So, but you will have to have a current max every time and the current min also. Yeah, maybe I'll try to implement that and then I'll share in the Discord. Yeah, but I'm just thinking loud. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good solution.
Yeah, let us try that. Sure.
Can you paste your existing solution also?
I'm sorry.
He's telling to post that solution in the Discord, the one which you have.
Yeah, I'll try to do that, sure.
Yes, so we can proceed to next. Yeah. So here we have to count the square matrices with all ones. Given n cross n of ones and zeros return, how many square submatrices have all ones? So here there are 15 such matrices. First of all, 10 matrices of single one, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, single. Then of side 2, 4, and 3, 1. Yeah, so on. Same goes here. And constraints are like array length would be less than 300 and elements would be 0 and 1 only. Yeah, so how would we proceed here? Like in the brute force?
Okay, so first let's try to go through all the square of size 1.
Okay.
And we maintain a count, like here we'll go through all of them and we'll get a count of 4 plus 3 plus 3, 10 initially. And then we traverse all the squares of side 2.
Okay, yeah.
Keep on doing this till till the size of the matrix, the larger dimension.
Yeah, whichever is m is large or n is large.
So for side 2, what will you do? Will you check like if the sum of these elements is equal to side square? Is it like that? I mean, if it is a size
That also,
of
or you can just traverse through that particular square
and check each element.
Yeah, for each index, you'll actually look for the length of the width and the depth. And then you'll find the square. Each and every one should have 1. So then you'll count it as that number, right?
So one right, one down, and one diagonal.
Yeah. So it will be for all. Like if the size is 2, in that case, you'll have to 1, 0, 1, 2 in the rows and 0, 1, 2 in the columns. And then you'll have to look for each and every cell. And if all of them are 1, then you add that. So you'll increment the answer in that case. Yeah. So that will be O of n square or n cube?
It should be n square only, right? Every time you're visiting this square, yeah, n square it should be.
No, but you are actually going through the length, right? So you'll start with length of 1. So okay. O of 1. So you'll go for length from 1 to n minus 1 maybe, right?
Yeah.
And then you will actually go for row and column for each of every length, right? So that inner loop itself will be n square. So outer loop will be n. So it will be n cube, right? It was the brute force.
N to the power 4.
N to the power 4.
What we are doing is we are selecting 4 points, right?
So if you just look at if you take the length, okay, whatever, maybe if you are in the middle, if the length is 2, so then you will actually go in a for loop inside looking for the rows and columns, right? So you will be just looking for the lengths of rows 1, 2, 3, and then the columns of them. So that will that not be n cube? How come n4?
So I'm saying that we are going through all the squares, right?
Huh?
So that would be selecting 4 points out of n.
Oh, by NC4.
Yeah.
It can be 4 points. It can be 9 points, depending on the size of matrix that you are, trying to find, right? So
okay.
So what I was thinking, maybe let me just write it over
4
here.
boundary points you need, right?
Okay, no, I was slightly saying differently. Maybe your implementation was different.
I think yours is a bit optimized one. Like
really? Okay.
I mean, if it is n cube.
No, okay, maybe let me see if my understanding is correct or not. So I was saying if my length starts from 1 to n minus 1, this will be my first for loop, right?
Okay.
And in this, what I will do is for rows, okay, from 0 to len, okay. And then in this, I'll go for column 0 to len. And if these are all ones, all are ones, maybe I'll have something rest here. If it is all ones, okay, then I say, okay, this rest will be 1, and then I will add this value. Okay, so this I'll go over and over again. So this is what I was thinking. Maybe I thought it might be like n
So
cube.
you take one row and you take one column, okay, and you take one length. So how are you deciding the other dimension? Like, let's say you start for row equal to 0 and your length is 2. So you also have to decide that top right.
Oh
column.
yeah. You're right. Yeah. So I'll have to start with okay. Then I'll have to have another one in another loop here. Okay, for whatever that from 0 to length actually. Yeah, and then I'll have to have I and J something like that, and then this one. Okay, I got it. Yeah. So it will be at least n4, right?
Yeah.
N raised to 4 at least, or maybe more also. Yeah. Yeah, got it. Thank you.
I don't. I think you already had that loop of for the length from 0 to length.
Yeah, but actually that is not correct because I should not have a fixed starting point, right? Because it might. I was looking from the 0th, but it should not be. It should be like any number from 0 to my length of the row or length of the column. And also in this case, I'm not sure the matrix is going to be a square because they said m into n. It can be a rectangle also.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
So you will have to specifically go through each and every column and row.
So your inner two loops were checking each element of the matrix, right?
Right.
Yes.
And then you're going into 2 dimensions from there.
Yeah.
Basically,
I think it would be even more than n to the power 4.
Yeah, it looks like that, exactly. Why NC4 only? But okay.
Using these 4 loops, you select a square, right? And after this, you also have to traverse that square.
Yeah, but traversing the square should be n square, correct?
Yeah, right. So n to the power 4 into n square.
Which is n to the power 4. N to the power n square and n square, right? N square for every element in the array and then n square for 2 dimensions.
Yeah, maybe I'll try that and I'll check it and let you guys know. Okay. No problem.
Yeah, it's a different implementation. You know, implementing a brute force part.
Yeah. Yeah. No
So
problem.
there's one optimization probably, since let's say we find a square of 3 by 3, that guarantees there are, 4 squares of 2 by 2 already.
Okay.
In this example, right, we have a 3 by 3 square.
Correct.
That means it guarantees, we don't have to look for 2 by 2 because we know for sure there's a, at least in this dimensional space, we have 4 2 by 2 squares already.
Yeah,
right.
But in that case, you have to check if 3 square equal to 9, then only you can say that state. Because if 3 square equal to 9, that shows that all the elements in that 3 cross 3 matrix is 1, 1, 1. Right? If it is the sum is lesser than that, then you can't comment that statement, right?
But it's a matrix of 0 and 1 only, right? No?
Yeah, 0 and 1 only. So let's say 3 cross 3 matrix is there. If all the elements are 1, then only 3 square equal to 9, right? Like if any one element is 0, then the sum of that matrix will never be 9, right?
Yeah, but I think what he's trying to say is he is trying to go from the higher side, like n minus 1. And first he'll check how many ones are there. Okay. If they all are 1, then he will say, okay, I have a fixed answer now. Of all the whole of matrix is n minus 1. So I'll have so much number of squares, right? That can be easily calculated. So similarly, yes. So similarly, he's trying to reduce it by 1, 1, 1, row and column, and try to see if he's getting a square of all ones. Yeah.
So he's trying to say that smaller problems are already covered in bigger ones.
Yes, yeah, that you can say. Right.
So
But he's
that
trying to
I
go
was
from the
saying,
other side.
if I
But
have this like 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 0 if I have, then
okay.
this is a side length of square 3. So 3 square 9.
Yeah.
Here the sum of all the elements are not 9. Then in
So
that case he can't say.
yeah, so he's actually ignoring this for now because he was trying to say it's an optimization of the brute force. Right.
Okay.
So then he's saying, okay, I won't go for this one. So, but I'll go for this other one, which are the 4 ones, right?
4 ones, top one.
Yeah, the top ones. So at least, yeah, this one or that one. And then I can say, okay, I can find this. Yeah, but if you have an overlapping, then there will be a problem, Biju. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw when you actually you was drawing it. Yeah.
This also.
Yeah, you'll have to be careful there. Yeah, but that's a good one. Okay, but now what is a good optimization solution for this one? Because this is an easy problem.
Someone was using rolling hash also, so.
No. Actually, the very easy way is to do, actually go through the whole array. Okay. And anytime when there is 1, so that is a square. That is correct, right? Because there, if you look for the example 1, they're saying 10 square because we have 10 ones. But then when we actually go, leaving the row, 0th row and 0th column, if we traverse to any cell and if you look for all of the, the top and to the left and the diagonally opposite values of that particular cell, and we find what is the minimum value of them. If it is all ones, okay, if you take in this case, so we can just add that, right?
Yeah.
So that can be done. Correct.
Yeah.
So if we have this value, correct. So we can look for the value over here is 1, 1, 1. So we can, for this one, we can actually add, say it is 2 value there. So similarly, we can make this value also 2, right? So this value will also be 2. And for this value, in this way, because all of these are 2, so this 2 you can add to this 1. So 2 plus 1 will be 3 in this case, right? So, and if we add this 10 and then we have these 2's, right? And then this 3. Correct. So that is the reason we will have 15.
So first you are calculating one side, one length square, right?
I'm sorry.
First you are calculating side, one length square, and to that you start appending. Is it like something like that?
Right. Yeah. So the what you say sort of a cumulative sum.
2D prefix sum.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
So you take the maximum out of these 3?
No, actually, that should not be the way it has to be done, right? So you'll be adding, because that is a square, no?
Okay, you are adding. Okay, right.
Yeah. So I'm just maintaining a global variable, something like an answer. Okay, I'll just add if I find any time a value different,
Right,
and add that dp I and j value to it.
Right. So you are reusing your DP and maintaining a global variable.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
So anyone wants to quickly share that implementation? Shashank didn't
No,
implement. Okay, I will share that then. No problem. Okay, so the way. Okay, so you have these rows, columns, and then this is a DP array of the rows and columns, and going through the rows, and if the column is 0, then just adding 1. Okay, but value of that particular cell should be 1. And then this is an answer which is the global variable I'm returning. So I'm just adding 1 every time. So I'm just looking for the 0th column and 0th row over here and adding those answers. So then when I come to this loop, I start from 1, 2 rows and 1, 2 columns. And if any time the cell value is 1, okay, look for the DP value, look for all the 3 chord cell values, one on the top, okay, this is on the top, and this is on the left side, and this is the diagonal opposite value. So all these values, whichever is the minimum, you just add 1 because of this matrix Ij, because that value is 1. If I add 1, then my DP value, whatever it will be stored here. And then you add that DP value to the answer, because this value will have your earlier one also, as well as the current one, correct? And if it is 3, it will be the 3 also in that case. And then you return this answer. Right, this is the same, the cumulative sum as problem, right?
Why minimum?
So minimum, right? So every time when you come to in this position also, you look for all the ones which are minimum. So you might have year 2s, but these are only ones, right? So you don't want to, because you don't want to consider that square. There might be a case like that, you know.
So DP of Ij gives me all the squares which have the bottom right corner as Ij, right?
Yes.
That is why it is minimum.
Right.
I want the squares which are ending at this particular cell.
Squares which are ending at this particular cell, right? Because DP of Ij, yeah, so this 1, 1, 1, this will be 1, so that will be 1. And then you have another square over here, so therefore this value will be 2, and therefore that DPij will be 2, right? And in the same case here also we have 3, because you have one square here which is 2, other square here which is 2, right? This is 2, this is 2, and this is also 2, right? So all these are 2s, and then using this one also, that therefore it is going to be 3. Yeah, so we have 3 squares, 1, 2, 3, and this guy also. Yeah.
One of size 1, one of size 2, and one of size 3.
Yeah. Yeah. So this was a easy one, right? Yeah. Okay.
So these
today all the
questions,
3 were DP.
optimized one are very easy to code, like if you know the logic, but the brute force is very difficult.